First of all, congratulations. It's been a remarkable run, I think, for your squad to get to this 23-win plateau. Going back to almost a year ago when you got the job, was there any points where you thought, man, I don't know about this. What am I getting myself into?
Oh, I definitely think there's some of those things they creep through your mind a little bit. But we've talked about it with our group that there's a discomfort, and sometimes maybe that's a strong word, but sometimes with comfort comes a complacent mentality. And with this group in particular, the discomfort of not knowing what you're going to get has always kept us on edge this year. And that edge has helped get us better every day, like they've been our motto. Let's get better every day.
I know earlier in the year when I was talking to you, you said, I'm really not sure what exactly we're going to be at and where we're going to know that. When did it finally click for you about what this team was and what it could be capable of doing?
You know, I mean, you go to Texas, you go to Iowa, and you get your butts beat in, and a lot of things creep into your mind then. But I think the big thing for us was you open up the season against a good Oral Roberts, or open up the conference season against a good Oral Roberts team, and you're able to win that in a close one. Turn around 2 nights or 2 days later and do the same thing against South Dakota. And then we go on the road in an Omaha game who, they'd beaten, a Marquette team, and we're able to execute down the stretch. A true freshman, Paul Miller, goes 6 for 6 from the free throw line, and you win those games. And what comes with those wins is confidence and swagger. And confidence and swagger with a young group is huge. And we've continued to build from there. It hasn't, I mean, you've seen us, Brian, it hasn't always been the prettiest thing offensively. But what our guys have really bought into is defending, rebounding, which was a big concern of mine in particular because of the size that we lost and what we had coming back. And then we took care of the ball. Those 3 things have given us a chance late in the second half. And anytime you have a guy like Lawrence Alexander and you're in a ball game, a lot of times he's just going to will you to win.
I know anytime you have staff turnover, not only as the head coach, but as assistant coaches come on, that creates some new dynamics as well, bringing Coach Hendo and Coach Olson in. What have they brought to the staff, and how has that changed some of the things for you, what you do?
Well, again, that's another credit to our guys of welcoming me as a head coach and Jaden and Eric in particular to the staff, because you're right. I mean, they're going to come with new ideas. They're going to come with new philosophies, and part of our guys are looking at us like, why do we need to blow things up? And obviously we didn't blow things up, but it was different, and our guys accepted that. Eric's a guy that doesn't have any bad days, none. I mean, his glass isn't half full, his glass is overflowing. And that's great because sometimes my glass is, just got a couple drops in it, and that balance, is great for our guys. He does a tremendous job with the relationship part of it, which is big, especially dealing with 18 to 23-year-olds. I mean, this is what they need to hear. A lot of times. Sometimes they just need somebody to sit down and go to lunch with, and Eric's just there. Eric's around. Eric's got an incredible passion for the game. You could see him, if I let him, he would practice every day with our guys. He loves it that standpoint. So, having Eric and Alicia and his 2 boys has been great. And then Jaden and I have been best friends for a long time. Jaden's the godfather to one of my daughters, one of our daughters, and Jaden's, from a total package as good as I've been around. Recruiting, game planning, he does the scheduling part. He's outstanding. And, the balance between him and Eric has been great, along with a couple guys like Freddie Coleman and Josh Vaughn, who not only do they understand the program, they really understand me. And I think that's big because they can really relate to the new guys on staff, but they can also relate to the players, most importantly.
How have you changed as a coach now? It's your first year.
Oh, that's a good question. You probably have to, ask somebody else. I think the early Dave Richman was, really a screamer, yeller, in your face. And not that I'm not that at times, but I've tried to pick and choose, my opportunities or my positions in doing that. We all picked up an orange ball, Brian, because it was fun. And that's really what the environment that I've tried to create as much as possible, is that we're out there having fun. The last thing we say, that's on the board, go out there and have some fun. And that's really what it's about. And hopefully you see that from our guys, that, they're getting along together as a family and having fun. Now, the guys will be the first to tell you I'm not going to accept anything except for great. We talk about it all the time. Don't be good, be great. But I think, especially as the year goes on and you have success, guys really buy into that. And again, I'm very happy and very pleased to be the head coach here, most importantly because of the group of people, staff, and players that I'm surrounded with.
I think a lot of people that you talk to around the community would say that this group overachieved, and that's the word they keep using. Is that fair?
Yeah, we'll take it. Expectations are expectations, and those expectations come from different areas. quote-unquote experts like yourself. Yeah, but what happened was there wasn't an expert in our locker room, that believed in the other expectations of us being a 5th seed. But again, I've touched on it plenty. I also really think that worked in our favor. There were some comments by some people. There was the preseason polls. There was guys talking about this, guys talking about that. But it really stayed quiet in our locker room. And again, things could have gone a lot of ways after those first 2 games. But we were able to settle down a little bit, win a couple games at home, start out the conference season the way we did, and really keep things together internally and just built from there.
I know every group that you have every year is different. The dynamics are different. 09 team to last year's team that went to the tournament. How is the 14-15 Bison different from a personality standpoint as a team?
Every group that we've had, because we really pride ourselves on, is finding kids that fit here, kids that fit off the court more importantly than on the court. And this group fits right in line with those 3. They are as tight of group as I've ever been around. You go to a pregame meal and they're clowning each other, joking, from the guys that tried out and walked on to Lawrence Alexander. And I think there's nobody that's better than anybody else. I mean, sure, the numbers say otherwise, but from a personality standpoint, they all get along. They're all brothers, and I think that's really special. What makes this group different? We really bought into, like I said, the 3 main things of creating the culture of togetherness and toughness, and that's defending, that's rebounding, and taking care of the ball. And those are some things that we didn't do well early in the year. And the other thing that we've done is with the selfless attitude of a lot of these guys, you take a guy like Carlin Dupree, who is a point guard by nature, a guy that's used to some limelight, had the ball in his hands all the time, but he's really bought into a role of playing without the ball a lot of times. He's still great for us in transition, but again, it's a do whatever it takes mentality for the betterment of the team, betterment of the group, and that's what's really cool, really special to be around.
I think you're the 6th youngest Division I men's basketball coach in the country. Do you feel like you're too young, or you one of the young guys on the court? I mean, do you feel that way when you're going up against some of these other vets?
Not on the court. There had times off the court you look around and you're just trying to gain any experience. You're going to go against a Mark Few who epitomizes what college basketball coaching is about. Just a great guy, obviously a heck of a coach. But I'm just like our guys. I'm not pretty. I'm young, dumb, and naive. And so when we roll out in the court, that's just all of our attitudes. You can see me at times losing it, with emotion, with the big fist pump here or there. I want to be a part of these, I want to be a part of it with these guys. And I'm having a bunch of fun as well as they are, and that's what's important to me.
47 new men's basketball coaches at programs in their first year this year. Only 2 won their conference tournaments, you and Manhattan. I know that doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but at the same time, for a coach in their first year to do something like this, to lead a team like this in the NCAA tournament, no matter what the seed, is a special deal. Is this going to be, when you look back, one of the most special moments because it was your first?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a part of that, just because it is my first year. And make no mistake, Brian, I'm very excited and I'm very appreciative of everything. But this isn't and will never be about Dave Richman. And there's a lot of work that goes. I mean, you're fortunate. You see us behind the scenes a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into this by a lot of people. There's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time away from families, a lot of, the way the Summer League travel is. And that's what I'm very appreciative of is, the time and effort, the blood, sweat, and tears by our guys, the work from the Jason Millers in the weight room in the spring, summer, and fall, and obviously throughout the season. Danielle does a tremendous job rehabilitating our guys. Wes Offerman, Helena Johnston, people that they don't get enough credit for what they do. Sometimes a coach takes the brunt of it when they lose, and I'm very cool with that. And a lot of times we get too much credit when we win, and that credit needs to be deflected to a lot of people.
You didn't really have a home court. I think you're now practicing in your 3rd different place now of the year because you've had to take your floor out of your practice facility over the last week and everything. Do you guys ever talk about that? Do you ever look back at that and think it's even more impressive because we have not had a home floor, a home gym, a practice facility that's really been ours throughout the year? 5.
That's what I'm at. So many practice courts we've been on in the Twin Town areas. Shields, Moorhead was able to let us over there. We were appreciative of that. We have our practice facility. We've been in the Wellness Center yesterday in the bunker too. But that was a big concern and a worry of myself and our staff of how we're going to handle that. But in a weird way, it's really brought us closer together. There aren't any excuses, and again, that's so much of a credit to Lawrence. I mean, maybe it is because these guys don't know any better, that they just go out there and this is what it is, and we're excited to be in our warehouse, you know, and we're excited to lift in the grocery store with the, you know, the produce and fresh meat signs still up there, you know, and that's again. The culture of togetherness, the culture of toughness, you know, that really starts, you know, again with our senior leadership, but with also within, you know, the administration. And again, it will always be, and this sounds crazy to a lot of people, we pass on tons of talent in the recruiting game. Obviously, we're going to be attracted to you because you can play basketball, but it's about getting the right talent, the right fit, the right student, the young man that understands that for 4 or 5 months out of the year, it's going to be really cold. We promise 2 things here. It's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of fun. And the big saying, if you show up, those who stay will be champions. And that's what we ask our guys to do. Show up, work your butt off, pick your head up a little bit later and see where you're at. And this year kind of epitomizes that.
Last question for you. When you're getting set to take the floor, the ball's about to get tipped up against Gonzaga, what's going to be going through your mind? How do you feel like you're going to react in that situation? I know you've been there as an associate head coach, assistant head coach. This is a little different.
Better sit down a little bit longer and get my legs under me before I stand up. But I'm going to lean on the experiences and I'm going to lean on our guys, you know, to just like they've done. To me, maybe the coolest thing, and again, I hate talking about myself, but the coolest thing for me has been my relationship with Lawrence. Some of the conversations that we have on the court, some of the text messages that we exchange on the bus on the way home, you know, are pretty special. Him telling me, you know, what to do, me telling him what to do, and that's what I'll lean on out there. Is those guys, we have a big challenge. Make no mistake, Gonzaga is as good as there is, and they're as well coached. But this group of guys won't be intimidated, and I've got to do my part, you know, just to relax, enjoy the moment, and again, throughout the course of the game, settle in a little bit. And I think that'll be for all of us. I tell people all the time, I get more nervous, more excited watching a game that I have no control over than our game, and I think that's because I'm in our game invested. You feel like you have a little bit of control, but it works out. It's a good balance for us all, and again, I can't thank our guys in particular, Lawrence, enough for how this first year's went.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck.
Thanks, Brian.